When did we all become so confident that being wrong stopped embarrassing us? Because the audacity lately, insane. Like, how are you going to say I know my worth while bringing absolutely nothing to the table? How are you going to say I'm protecting my peace when what you really mean is I don't want to have an uncomfortable conversation? How are you going to demand emotional maturity from everybody around you while throwing a full-blown tantrum because somebody simply said no? And why are some of us so confidently wrong, not slightly wrong, not the oops, I misunderstood kind of wrong? I'm talking wrong with your whole chest. The kind of wrong where everybody around you is just sitting there like, should we tell her? And honestly, I love confidence. I love boundaries. I love knowing your worth. I love choosing yourself. I love walking away from things that don't serve you. But babes, there's a very thin line between self-respect and entitlement. And sometimes we be crossing that line, baby. So today, let's talk about that audacity. Hey lovelies, I'm Davny and welcome to Davny Talks. Okay, let's establish something first. We actually have a lot going for us. We are expressive, we are more open about mental health, we are questioning things we were simply told to accept. We are learning about boundaries, we're talking about self-respect, we're building businesses, we're figuring ourselves out, we're trying to navigate adulthood while simultaneously pretending we have absolutely everything figured out. And honestly, I love that for us. I think it's beautiful that we are learning to speak up. We are learning that saying no doesn't make us a bad person. We're learning that we don't have to stay in situations just because we're scared of disappointing somebody. We are learning that self-respect matters. But sometimes I think we've taken confidence and added a little too much seasoning because there's a difference between confidence and entitlement. There's a difference between standards and unrealistic expectations. There's a difference between protecting your peace and avoiding accountability. And sometimes we blur those lines like crazy. And honestly, one of the clearest places you can see that is in the way some people handle being wrong. Because being wrong isn't even the problem. We are all wrong sometimes. The problem is when you're wrong and somehow still the most confident person in the room. Some people are usually confidently wrong. Being wrong is normal. We are human. You can misunderstand something. You can have bad information. You can hear something incorrectly. You can change your mind. That's life. But why are some people wrong with the confidence of a TED Talk speaker? I mean, you could literally show them evidence. They'll be like, no. Okay, here's the evidence. Still no. At that point, you're just negotiating with your ego. And you know what's even funnier? Sometimes you can literally tell someone something, they'll argue with you, then go home, Google it, and come back 3 days later, acting like they discovered it themselves. I think social media has a significant role to play in all this because now everyone has access to information, which is great, but access to information doesn't automatically mean you understand the information. Watching a few reels about psychology does not make you a psychologist. Reading one relationship thread does not make you a relationship expert. And please, sometimes we need to be comfortable saying, I don't know. That sentence will save you from so many embarrassing situations. You don't always have to have an opinion. You don't always have to win the argument or prove that you're right. Sometimes you're simply wrong, and that's okay. The real flex is being able to say, oh, I didn't know. My bad. That's maturity because honestly, being able to admit you're wrong requires something that a lot of confidence doesn't. That brings me to another phrase we absolutely love throwing around. I know my worth. Do you? Seriously, know your worth. Please know it. But here's the issue. Sometimes we use knowing our worth to mean I deserve everything I want without having to become the person capable of maintaining it. And no, you want a six-figure lifestyle? Okay, what habits are you building? You want healthy friendships? Are you a healthy friend yourself? You want someone emotionally mature. Are you emotionally mature? You want consistency. Are you consistent? You want somebody who communicates. Can you have uncomfortable conversations without disappearing? Because knowing your worth isn't just about saying, I deserve better. Sometimes it's also asking, am I becoming better? That's the part nobody puts on the Pinterest boards. Because growth is cute. Growth is cute until it requires you to change. Everybody wants the glow up. Nobody wants the character development. Everybody wants the results. Nobody wants the boring Tuesday nights where you're doing the work and nobody is clapping. Everybody wants to be the person who has discipline. Nobody wants to experience the part where discipline means doing something when you absolutely do not feel like doing it. And that's why I think we sometimes get audacity confused with confidence. Confidence says, I know I can become better. Entitlement says, I deserve better without having to do better. Sometimes the most self-respecting thing you can do isn't walking away. Sometimes it's sitting down and admitting, maybe I'm part of the problem, and oof, that's uncomfortable. Which is why we love using the phrase, I'm protecting my peace. Yeah, we like saying that. Now. We need to talk. I support and protecting my peace and also healthy boundaries. Protecting your mental space, absolutely. Walking away from genuinely unhealthy situations, 100%. But babes, sometimes protecting my peace means I don't want to deal with the consequences of my actions. Sometimes it's I don't want to have that difficult conversation. I don't want to apologize. I don't want to explain myself. I don't want to hear something that challenges me. And instead of saying that, we say, I'm protecting my peace. Your peace should not exempt you from taking accountability. Sometimes peace comes after the uncomfortable conversation. Sometimes maturity is sitting down and saying, okay, we clearly misunderstood each other. Let's talk about it. That's nothing close to losing your peace. That's developing emotional maturity. Because avoiding every uncomfortable situation isn't peace. And I think that's something we genuinely need to learn. Not every uncomfortable conversation is toxic. Not every disagreement is disrespect. Not every person who challenges you is jealous. Sometimes somebody is just telling you something that you don't want to hear. And honestly, learning how to hear something uncomfortable without immediately becoming defensive, that's a skill. There's something about having main character energy. I love main character energy. Romanticize your life. Take yourself out. Wear the outfits you love. Take the pictures. Have your little cinematic moment. You deserve to enjoy your own life. But babes, you are the main character of your story, not everybody else's. Sometimes people genuinely expect the world to revolve around them. You want everybody to understand you, everybody to accommodate you, everybody to validate you, everybody to agree with you, and when someone doesn't, suddenly they're the villain. I mean, maybe, just maybe, they're another main character too. Other people have feelings, boundaries, other people don't exist solely to support your storyline, and honestly, that's one of the most beautiful parts of growing up. Realizing that you're important without needing to be the center of everything. And speaking of turning every little thing into a dramatic storyline, there's another phrase I think we sometimes use way too casually. It's not that deep. The people who cause an issue and then tell you it's not that deep. Okay, let's take a scenario where you said something disrespectful. I reacted. Then you're like, why are you being so dramatic? Because what do you mean you literally started the whole issue? I think sometimes people use it's not that deep because they don't want to take responsibility. If you hurt somebody, you don't get to decide how much it hurts them. You can explain your intention, but you don't get to erase the experience. And that's something I think we need to remember. If somebody tells you that hurt me, maybe the response doesn't have to be you're too sensitive. Maybe it's I didn't mean to hurt you, but I understand why you felt that way. You don't have to agree with someone's feelings to respect them. Honestly, it's very easy to look around and say, people are so entitled, people are so emotionally mature, people have so much audacity, but wait a minute, are we talking about just them or us too? Because sometimes we are the audacity. Maybe we demand consistency while being inconsistent. Maybe we want people to communicate with us while we shut down when conversations get uncomfortable. Maybe we want successful lives but keep postponing the work. Maybe we want healthy relationships but haven't dealt with the patterns we bring into them. Maybe we want people to respect our boundaries while ignoring theirs, and that's where self-awareness becomes important. Because being self-aware isn't just knowing all your flaws, it's being willing to do something about them. It's easy to say, that's just how I am, but growth sometimes sounds like, that's how I've been, but that's not how I want to continue. There's something very attractive about somebody who can look at themselves honestly, not just assuming and saying everybody else is the problem or that's just how I am. They just don't understand me. But maybe I could have handled that better. That is growth. And honestly, I think that's where real confidence starts. The real audacity is thinking you don't have anything left to learn because none of us have life figured out. Nobody. We are all learning, we are all making mistakes, we are all figuring out friendships, relationships, careers. And maybe the healthiest thing we can do is become a little more comfortable with saying, I was wrong, I need to work on that. I don't know, I'm sorry, I could have handled that better. Those sentences aren't weakness, they're growth. Confidence is knowing you're capable of becoming better, and maybe that's the real difference between confidence and audacity. Confidence can handle correction, audacity can't. Confidence can say, I don't know, audacity needs an answer. Confidence can say, I'm sorry, audacity says, well, technically, honestly, I think we just need more self-awareness attached to confidence because knowing your worth is beautiful, having standards is beautiful, protecting your peace is beautiful, being confident is beautiful, but accountability is the reflex. The next time you're about to say, I know my worth, ask yourself, do my actions reflect that? The next time you say, I'm protecting my peace, ask, am I protecting my peace or avoiding something uncomfortable? Because sometimes the audacity isn't other people. Sometimes it's us, and honestly, I think admitting that is a pretty good place to start. This has been Davny Talks. If you're leaving this episode thinking, okay, maybe I have a little audacity, that's fine. We're not trying to eliminate the audacity. We're just trying to put it on a leash. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you in the next episode.